I'm Holly.
I'm Leslie.
And
we would be dead.
Leslie.
Hey, Holly.
Hey, Fiends. We just had a wild time trying to get this episode started.
Oh, boy.
The microphone was broken. The stand part, not the actual microphone.
Yeah. I don't know.
It was a blur.
I was really excited because I thought I fixed it.
You took all the washers out of the mic stand apparatus.
I really took everything apart, put it back together.
Yeah, you did. I did nothing, but I know what a washer is called.
Yeah. Holly was very patient and supportive. And
I
left her with
drinks.
a limp mic.
Yeah, my mic is a little bit like flaccid this week. So if I sound like slightly quieter than usual, you'll probably be fine. I'm very loud.
It'll just be a normal speed.
Yeah. Anyway. So guys, welcome back for week 2 of our coverage of the murder of Kouri Richins by his wife, Kouri, a.k.a. the case that got me to be mean.
Yes.
Guys, this one really broke my composure. It has been a deeply held belief of mine since the moment we started this show that every perpetrator we discuss should be presented in their authentic human form. That's why we call them all by their first name. As I've said many times, Dahmer is a mythical monster, but Jeff is a guy that did horrible things.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're new here, see what I mean? But we are living in hindsight over here, and to portray a killer as anything hyperbolic is to downplay the very real and horrible things they did. This includes making murderers out to be both otherworldly villains and obvious bumbling fools. Our mission statement was, is, and always will be to turn the lights on in the haunted attraction that is true crime. Because to water it down or glamorize it is to diminish the experience of the victims and their families. People love to say things like, well, if I were them, I'd be able to escape. I'd get away from that serial killer, or I'd see the writing on the wall. But we know that that is not only foolish, but also insensitive. And we know that we're not better than any of them, which is why our literal title, which we say out loud 2 times a show, is We Would Be Dead. Exactly. I lost the plot last week, you guys. I've been doing such a good job, but Kouri Richins fucking broke me. I would love to tell you that I'm going to be really cool and stop mocking her in this second part, but I cannot make any promises. At the end of the day, she is a manipulative, delusional, overconfident white girl who thought she could get away with literally anything and everything. Now, manipulative, delusional, overconfident white girls, kind of a dime a dozen. They're not super uncommon, but apparently they are the one thing that I just cannot be chill and professional about. So I guess enjoy the ride this week because there is no way off. And if we should ever, someone can convince me to cover Casey Anthony in the future, I assure you, I will be worse.
I bet.
So if you guys are like, I really want to see Holly like mad and mean, that's the one to request. As you can imagine, spending 2 whole weeks angrily squinting at my computer and yelling insults into the abyss has taken a toll on my appearance. Probably should have Botoxed in anticipation so my face wouldn't move as much, but the scowling caught me by surprise. Now I'm looking unmoisturized and stressed out.
Yeah, I wish you Botoxed before I came over.
I wish I could ever Botox. Now, I've tried everything I can think of to bring a little color back into my cheeks, but nothing seems to work. I feel like I'm all out of options, unless.
Okay.
Don't tell anyone.
I'm listening.
Except for everybody who is listening. You can tell them. But I have heard whispers of a super secret ingredient as of late that may be able to cure all of, I have our problems written down here, but they're clearly just mine. You're perfect. All of my problems. I've heard that all I need are just a few precious drops of
validation, a hill worth dying on.
That's how I feel this week.
Yeah, me too.
That's appropriate. Good job.
Thank you.
And best of all, our fiends can give us that ingredient totally free of charge.
Excellent. How?
But how, you must be asking yourself? Well, I will tell you. Simply head on over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star rating and or a friendly review. It really is the only way to move this podcast forward. Ratings and reviews equal attention, attention equals support, and support equals more and better content for all of you. But if you just can't wait for more We Would Be Dead in your life, don't worry, you don't have to. You can support us over on Patreon. There, for just a few dollars a month, you will gain access to our entire catalog of 30-minute horror movies, special minisodes, our weekly after show, Host Mortem, which is available in both video and audio formats. Maybe you want to see our faces. Maybe you don't. Both are okay.
And I just want to say, I'm a little backlogged because we had an issue with the sizing of our postmortems. That is now being fixed. And
Perfect.
All of them will be up. And so part 1 and part 2 of this episode should be up by the time you're listening.
And part 1 is juicy.
Yeah.
Our postmortem last week was like, we did a lot more fun gossipy things than we do regularly. I don't know. I had a lot of steam to blow off last week. I was so angry. And we did a part 1 and part 2. We do not always host mortem both parts because we don't want to spoil stuff, but turns out last week we could.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you're a patron, you'll also get a special gift in the mail from us, the opportunity to participate in some giveaways, merch deals, and on-air toast dedicated just to you and more. We also have more exclusive content in the works for you, our beloved patrons. And summer tends to be the time when we really roll into some patron stuff. I don't know if you've noticed that, but it usually kind of is. So this is a very good time to jump on board. And if our beloved patrons have anything they'd like to see or hear or, I don't know, do, please never hesitate to let us know. In all honesty, we are here thanks to our patrons. So come on over and be part of the We Would Be Dead family. And if all of that is a little too much for you, you can simply follow us on social media. We are at Would Be Dead Pod anywhere and everywhere you get your content. You can like our posts, share our posts, like and share our posts. Superstar. You can leave us a comment. You can post about your favorite episode. Let us know when you're listening. Tell a friend. Tell a neighbor. Tell that local realtor who has their photos absolutely everywhere. What's their name?
Oh, God, I feel like we've talked about realtors so much. I think we've had a Chriselle.
Have we, though?
And Christine. I feel like we've had so many.
I don't know. Specifically, this one is on billboards and shopping carts.
Sure. Okay. Maybe a Duncan.
Yeah, somebody that's loud and not great.
Yeah. Duncan Green.
Yeah, he is on billboards.
Yeah.
He is. And he's wearing a bad suit.
Yeah.
But maybe he's a good time at parties. We don't know.
We don't know.
Then your friends and Duncan Green, full government, can become fiends and we can all hang out together. Well, I think that's all I have in the way of general announcements this week. Leslie, do you have anything to add before we begin?
Well, tacking on to last week, no, I have nothing.
Perfect. Just so you know, if you hear jingly sounds, which took us too long to figure out what they were, they are the ice in our glass. We didn't know what that was that we could hear. That's where we're at right now, you guys, just so you know. But there we go.
It is 12:30 in the morning.
And it's been a hell of a run with this one.
I was trying to get Holly to take off all of her bracelets.
I wouldn't do it. I took off a hair tie that made no sound.
And then I picked up my drink and realized it was our drink.
It's ice cubes. Right. So if you hear that, it's okay. Just know that it's making us calmer, better people.
Yeah.
All right, then. On with the show. So last week, we went over Kouri's version of Eric's death in detail, starting with a point-by-point analysis of her 911 call. And this week, we got a really informative message from a fiend who has worked as a 911 dispatcher right in that area. And I'd like to share it with you guys before we move on from that particular event. And her name is M?
Yes.
Their name. Her name? Yeah, we got a pronoun, I think. It says, "Hi, I love We Would Be Dead. We love you. I wanted to clarify a few things about the 911 call in your latest episode, Cold," which I was pretty excited about that title because we both independently thought of it because she claimed the body was cold, but she is cold also.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't usually explain our titles, but there you go. Back to the letter. I was a 911 call taker in Salt Lake City, and the stuff that sounds odd is from training and a strict step-by-step protocol the dispatcher is promoted through while taking notes. If they don't follow it exactly, they can be written up or fired. No. In intense situations, the manager and other call takers are almost always listening in live, and recorded calls are audited for accuracy. Well, that's good. Getting the address first is so in case the call drops or ends, you at least have an address to send police to instead of knowing the emergency and not knowing where to send help, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Most 911 calls are from cell phones, and the APX live location isn't always 100% accurate. Also makes sense. Asking if the caller has a defibrillator seems weird, but it's part of the protocol, so it's scripted in. It's because some people with heart issues have at-home defibrillators, and the goal is never to have someone say they didn't use it because they didn't think about it. It's really smart. Anyway, thank you for all you do, and I love seeing new episodes drop. I'm a new mom, and your episodes keep me company through late nights. Oh my God. We are so glad we could keep you company.
I know, this is so sweet.
We are both moms. We get it. So thank you so much for that. And also thank you for being a 911 operator.
Yeah.
That is a famously difficult, frustrating, and scary job.
Absolutely.
So thank you for your service, and thank you for sharing. And I wonder if the phrase 911, what's your emergency, is like a Mandela effect thing.
Yeah.
Like if we made it up and just glommed onto it, or it's done in like movies that way. So our brain has just like made that happen.
Like, yeah, like it was more like a narrative choice.
Right. In a movie, you wouldn't want an address first. That would just stop your narrative. You would want them to say what was wrong. Or if maybe the 911 caller script has kind of changed in general because of cell phones. Like tracing a landline is very different. They are in one spot. You just have to trace that. But pinging a cell phone is different business altogether.
True.
Just interesting. But yeah, thanks for that. And it makes sense in context that the operator would ask the caller if they had a defibrillator. We just had never heard of that before because so few people have them, or at least if they do, they don't like display them on the wall or drop them into conversation.
Well, I think so. For me, it was more like I assumed it was part of a protocol.
Sure,
like
same.
They could just have it, and I didn't necessarily connect it to like somebody with like a heart problem or something might have that
if you're at a business, you're at like a public place, then there could be one on the wall.
But I think what was funny about it was like she was so reluctant to even touch him or do
she wouldn't do a single thing.
That it's just like, well, what about a defibrillator?
She was probably like, I don't even know what that is.
He's too cold.
He's cold.
I don't want to put this on him.
And then I was asleep.
You mean I have to like open his shirt?
No.
No.
Don't make me start talking like that again because I really will. I will also remind everyone at this point that the 911 operator in this case was like one of the best professionals involved in this case, Bart. Overall. She was so good. And I'm not just being nice because we're talking about 911 operators. We have also we have also spoken about some who were staggeringly bad. We have definitely encountered 911 calls that both of us were just like slamming our head against a wall.
Right.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
No, this woman was great. So thank you for that. When we left off last week, we teased the version of events that Kouri was presenting to the public in the, I think year span after her husband died. She had this persona that her husband had suddenly died of like an inexplicable fentanyl overdose. She was kind of projecting the fact that maybe he had secretly had a problem and she didn't know about it, because that's the thing that's very much presented to the public right now because of fentanyls, the fact that it's everywhere. Kouri looked like a grieving widow with 3 young boys facing her new normal. And she even wrote the incredibly depressing children's book, Are You With Me? And published it just a year after Eric's death. If you want to hear all the Goodreads reviews, please join our Patreon. We did talk a lot about them last week. So Kouri did the rounds publicizing this book. She was on TV. She was in People magazine. The public seemed to embrace her, too, at first. Like, she was a very sympathetic character at first. Behind closed doors, however, things were remarkably different because, you see, Eric's family was never convinced that he's had some kind of like horrible secret fentanyl addiction or that he randomly overdosed out of nowhere. And neither was the medical examiner. So let's get into that autopsy report, shall we? On March 5th, 2022 at 7:30 a.m., so around 24 hours after Eric's body was secured, his autopsy took place, and the results are interesting. Eric's cause of death was fentanyl intoxication. His blood levels were more than 5 times higher than the lethal dosage for a man of his size. That is a lot of fentanyl, considering a very tiny amount can be dangerous. So, medical examiners could also tell that the fentanyl Eric took was not prescription grade. There's a difference between medical grade fentanyl and the kind that was formulated for sale on the street. This was street drugs. And that means nobody close to him or he himself had a prescription for it. This was purchased. They also found fentanyl in Eric's stomach contents, which means that Eric ingested the substance orally. So he swallowed it. They can tell that.
Okay.
It wasn't injected or snorted, which I guess are 2 other ways you can partake in this substance if you like, but this was pills. They don't talk about finding like pill casings, but usually in cases like this, they do find them so they can tell you exactly what was going on. Now, in case you are unfamiliar with fentanyl, and honestly, I don't know how you could be, I heard a PSA about it at the movies last week.
Oh.
With my kids next to me.
Really?
They're like, fentanyl's a problem, and if you see signs of an overdose, call this number. Yeah, it's like, it's a big deal right now. But in case you're unclear on the details, here's a little overview. Fentanyl is a highly potent synthetic opioid of the piperidine family. If I pronounced that wrong, I'm very sorry. Used primarily as pain medication. It is, though, 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine.
Yeah.
Which to most of us lay people is like the top of the line.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, there's a bunch of things that help pain, and the top of it, the biggest, scariest one is morphine. This is like exponentially stronger than that. Its primary clinical use is in pain management for cancer patients and those recovering from surgery. So people who just really need solid relief. And when it's used in that kind of setting, it's like a miracle. Some people need intense pain management, and they deserve to have it without being looked at funny. Why would anyone look at them funny? Oh, because we can't have nice things and people have to ruin everything. So obviously it's being sold as an incredibly popular street drug by dealers at an alarming rate. Not only that, but for whatever reason, it's usually sprinkled into lots of other drugs that people sell on the street too. So if you buy unknown street drugs and you think you're getting, I don't know, meth or cocaine, there could also be fentanyl in it.
Right.
Just don't know. Currently, it is an enormous problem in the United States, too. Like the statistics, I don't have them all, but they are staggering, you guys. And again, if you haven't run into this, I'll be shocked. Essentially, fentanyl is the 2020s version of crack. Remember in the 90s when crack was like the biggest thing? Everybody, don't do crack. Crack is whack. Everyone does crack. It's awful. And what I mean in that way is that it is the dangerous it drug of the moment. It's highly effective, and with fentanyl, one wrong dose can pretty easily and quickly kill you. It's like very easy to overdose on.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of other, even street drugs, like you have to take a fair amount of them. This is something you could accidentally overdose on, and people frequently do with ease.
Yeah.
That's the scariest thing about it.
And I mean, it can be in, so you mentioned like some of the harder ones like heroin and meth, but like it could be laced in like if you're getting like
a joint,
like any any kind of stimulant off the street, like if you're just like, oh,
no man, if they're putting in stimulants, that's going to give you the opposite effect.
I know, yeah. But yeah, they're just like putting it in anything.
I can't
I even heard like gummies too, but like, yeah.
And the reason that I mean, it would be dangerous no matter what. But if you're not in a medical setting with medical grade fentanyl, it is very hard to measure how much you're putting in anything. And if you don't like know down to the exact little bit, overdosing is, like I said, it's just so easy. You could take one gummy that has like a little tiny bit too much and be overdosed.
Right.
And have trouble breathing. You could take 2 gummies and be dead. You could take 6 gummies and not know. It's very, in that way, and I find this interesting, talking about fentanyl is very similar to talking about botanical poisons, because things like belladonna are the same way. If it's not distilled and you don't measure it accurately, you're just, say, eating berries or licking the plant, you could have 1 and die, or eat 5 and walk away. There's just no way to tell how much is in it.
Right.
So, oddly similar. Anyway, fentanyl's intended uses are also for sedatives for intubated patients, because being awake during intubation is terrifying. And it also rather famously has a short duration of action, which means it hits you very quickly. In medical emergencies and prolonged situations where a person is in extreme or like breakthrough pain, this is a godsend. You want a pain reliever that works very fast, right? But as you can imagine, for that reason also, it has to be very carefully regulated. It's easy to like take a lot and not know, and then it hits you all at once.
Mm-hmm.
But what does that mean in Eric's case? Why are we talking about this? Well, it does mean that he would have had symptoms of an overdose within 10 minutes of ingesting it. Like, you don't have to wait. It's coming on like a freight train. And after the onset of those symptoms, he would have very quickly become unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
And then his breathing would become suppressed and labored. And within also a probably pretty short period of time, he would have passed away, because it stops your breathing impulses. Fentanyl is no joke. There is one thing you can do for someone if they OD on fentanyl, and that is administer naloxone, better known to a lot of people as Narcan. That's a substance that usually comes in a nasal spray, and it will counteract all effects of opiate medication for 30 to 90 minutes. Jump scare, guys. It doesn't cure you from your opiates forever. Narcan is a way to get to the hospital.
Yeah, exactly.
It is not a one and done, you're fine, you can go about your day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think enough people know that. So if you have Narcan in your home, which, you know what, like, not a bad idea. If you do, and you ever have to administer to someone, you can't just send them home. You have to then take them to the hospital immediately.
Right.
And tell them they had Narcan, help them.
Yeah.
So
have you been getting like people coming to your door?
No.
They've been coming around,
have
like
they?
Asking to like, or
are you serious?
They've been coming around like they're part of the community, like service people. They're all like these nice
I thought you were
people.
kidding.
No, they've been coming like they're part of the, forget like who they're working for, but it's all volunteer. But a lot of times it's these like nice young guys, kids coming around and like, basically a little bit like updating some information, but making sure that you have like, you know, about all the services like available to you.
Oh.
But then they also ask if you have like a Narcan in your house. Cause like if they don't, they're like packed with them. They can give you them to like keep in a car, just in case.
That's
like,
amazing.
or just if you want to have one in case.
Just to have one, because you never know when you're going to witness that kind of emergency.
Exactly.
Honestly,
and
like,
because like you said, it's like, I mean, they're showing commercials like at the movie theater. So it's like
a lot of people have an intent, like the 90s people had fear of crack. A lot of people have a very intense fear that their kids are going to overdose and they're not going to know.
Yeah.
That their kids are going to buy something and they're not going to know about it, and they're going to find them unresponsive. If you have that fear anywhere in your head, you should have Narcan in your house, without a doubt. Or if there's another kid in your house that you don't know and they did something you don't know about,
exactly,
thank God you have it.
I mean, it's smart to have, for sure.
I really do think that it is. And Eric did receive this intervention. I mentioned last week he did get Narcan. It just came far too late. And while it may not be commonplace or cost effective to get a defibrillator in your home, as we just mentioned, Narcan is very accessible. You don't even need those guys that are coming around, but if they're giving it out for free, you should take it every single time.
Right.
A 2-packet CVS of naloxone inhalers is $35.
Right.
You could have it in your house for not that much money. We live in different townships, so that's probably why we haven't had the same experience. But like, it's not hard to have it on hand.
Right. Now, is that something like that you can give to somebody if you're not sure?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I don't think that Narcan is going to, first of all, it's not going to be fun. It's not like a medicine people are going to steal to get high, to my knowledge. And I don't think one dose of it is going to hurt you if you don't know that the person is passed out from drugs or something, because I do believe it is administered to a lot of people who are just like non-responsive. They just go like, give them Narcan just in case.
Okay.
So I don't think it's gonna, you guys can call me on it if I'm wrong because this is.
Tell us.
I know, this is the end of my Narcan research for the week and it all comes to the thesis that you should have some in your house, which I, before this week, would never have thought of. I never would have thought of like, maybe I should have Narcan at my house because like we're not like a house full of opiates, but like you don't know.
Yeah.
You just don't know. I don't assume anything would happen to my children or my husband. I don't know who's a guest in my home.
I know.
My kids are...
Baby Thanksgiving get wild.
It could get real wild and somebody could need Narcan. We don't know. Anyway, just saying. But in case you have your Narcan and you don't know when to use it, what does a fentanyl overdose look like? Okay, I'll give you guys the standard information, but if you're trying to picture it in your head, it looks a lot like when someone ODs on heroin in a movie, which most of us have seen. So according to all the publicly available pamphlets, websites, and PSAs at the movies, a fentanyl overdose may result in stupor, changes in pupillary sizes. You get little tiny baby pinpoint pupils, or maybe some people get big ones. I think it's little ones, but people react different ways. You can have cold and clammy skin. You can observe cyanosis, which is blue discoloration of the skin. That would be when you're already not breathing.
Right.
Because cyanosis is a symptom of not enough oxygen. It can also result in respiratory failure, which will then lead to a coma and death. So something that quick and deadly is especially dangerous when you don't know how much you're taking or if you're taking it. And if you're buying it on the street, you genuinely don't know. There's no way that you know. So Eric's death, contrary to what a lot of people say, would not have been like terrifying or loud or violent. And I think that's a good thing. It was already done. I believe it would have been rather peaceful because I do think fentanyl is designed to make you not feel pain and be unconscious. So there are a lot of people that are like, I wonder if she was standing over him as he terrifyingly gasped his last breath and was suffocating. That's not what it's like.
Yeah. It almost sounded like to me she gave it to him and then she was like with the kids and she just 100%
came back that's what happened. 100%. We'll get into that, but yes.
Okay.
Absolutely correct. And we should note that it wouldn't have been loud because everybody in the house, if they were actually all asleep, it wouldn't have woken anybody up. He wouldn't have been struggling or shouting or falling or seizing. He would have just went to sleep and that would have been it. Perhaps if you were laying next to him, it would have looked like he was gaspy, but he would have been out of it.
Well, I mean, even if she was putting the kids to bed, then he definitely wasn't loud because they definitely didn't hear
100%.
him.
And I strongly believe that they were like awake when he was dying.
Yeah. Oh,
it's a terrible thing to say, but I'll get to why later. And also, the neighbors wouldn't have heard anything. Detectives searched the Richins' home and found no fentanyl present anywhere. They were like, okay, well, it's not here.
Right.
The pain meds that Eric had that they found on Kouri's dresser, remember last week we talked about, she was like, oh, pain pills. They were long expired and a different drug altogether. I think I mentioned last week that it was Vicodin. That's not fentanyl.
Or Oxycontin or something.
It was hydrocodone, which is Vicodin. Okay. So definitely not fentanyl, basically. And they were expired.
And from 2016.
2016. And like, if you are overdosing, you are not leaving some left in the bottle.
Right.
For later. Like, what are you doing?
So there was some in the bottle?
Yeah, it was not an empty bottle. They also found some white residue on a nightstand, but they didn't really seem to think that merited any testing. I don't think it did. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't think that's where anything untoward occurred. Before we move any further, so I don't forget, if you want to know what I think happened, she says in the previous episode, we discussed this, Kouri says that she made a Moscow Mule for both of them. And then before they went to bed, they had a lemon drop shot. I think it was in the shot.
Right. Yeah. I remember you saying that too.
Might have been on postmortem. I don't remember where I said it. But like, if you're slowly sipping a beverage, you're going to be so fucked up on fentanyl if there's 5 times the lethal dosage halfway through that you're going to go to bed.
Yeah.
I feel like it had to be that shot. And then that was it. Yeah. So anyway, got that out of the way. They also did not collect the glasses that Eric had used to drink the Moscow Mule and the lemon drop shot.
Right.
They didn't go near those. It really feels like they should have. Like, I got a lot of issues with the police in the beginning of this investigation, but that's one of my biggest ones. Like, why would she mentions like many, many, many times that the last thing they did before bed was have these drinks. Why wouldn't you see if there was anything in the drinks?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, hindsight is 2020.
I know. I feel like, and I apologize if I talked about this last week, but I had just gone to see Sheep Detectives.
Precious.
And it was just reminding me of that movie because it's also a small town, like murders don't happen,
right?
You know, and then so the one officer on duty, like a murder happens and then
they just don't do their
like somebody has to keep telling him like, you know, are you going to take pictures? Are you going to do that? And then later he's just like, did you get those pictures? Because I think I really need them now.
Yep. There's something that could be seen as like very bumbly, like Andy Griffith old school cop about this. But we also all have to remember that these are people that passed the cop test and the detective test in 2022.
Yeah. At the end of the day, a young person died.
Yeah.
And they just, like, you have to treat everything a certain way.
They shit the bed. And you'll find out more about that later.
But again, it's like, I understand slightly if it's just like, this is so out of character.
Or if it was so very convincing, like a cover-up. Like you really thought like, oh, there's no way.
It's like a woman and her 3 kids and like this man and maybe they knew him, you know? Like maybe they all went to the same church. I don't know. But like Yeah. But you have to like take everything around. I mean, even to take the glasses to just be like, oh, there was fentanyl in the glass. And like he was drinking it.
Those glasses, that feels like the most obvious piece of evidence you should have taken. Like, I get if there's some other things you don't do. I also fully understand if they didn't suspect Kouri right away. I get that. You're facing this little like woman who like is putting on this show and whatever.
Yeah.
Like I get that night, they didn't know that night how he had died. They just found that he was dead.
So like everything is evidence.
Exactly. Or it should be, right?
Yeah.
Should be.
And it should all be in there to essentially prove that she didn't kill him.
Yeah, why aren't you like taking the sheets, taking the glasses, taking why aren't you taking more things?
Yeah.
They didn't. Anyway, if they had taken those things, this whole process would have been expedited quite a bit. But alas, no such luck. Now, as far as the timeline goes, this means that Eric either would have had to swallow a lot of pills the second Kouri left their bedroom to attend to their son, if we're going by what she said, or he would have had to sneak them in the time it took Kouri to mix up that lemon drop shot.
Okay.
That's kind of hard to believe. And even she says that's hard to believe. She was like, I don't know when he could have taken anything. I was with him the whole night. I guess maybe he could have ducked into the bedroom and taken a THC gummy or something. I don't know. But she's not doing herself any favors. Like, you'd think if you concocted that whole story, you'd be like, he did go to the bathroom for a little while right beforehand. Nope, none of that. Good job, girl. Here's the thing. She's like just really banking on people believing her no matter what.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm pretty. I'm awesome. They're never going to question a single thing out of my mouth.
Right.
So I can say whatever I want. No one's going to investigate it. I strongly believe she did not think anyone was investigating this crime. She thought they were going to see what was placed before them, stamp a death certificate, and say, see you later. And that was going to be it. I mean, like, so obviously it wasn't. But that is the way her mind works. She's just always loud and wrong. Anywho. Now, fentanyl overdose, that like little tiny nugget of information is where the information brought to the public before the trial ended. Like that's all we knew. We knew he overdosed on fentanyl. She put forth this very good show that he was a secret addict or something. So we think, you would think, right? All they found was fentanyl. That was not the only thing the medical examiner found.
Oh, what else did they find?
A review of Eric Richins' stomach contents also found that he had a small amount of quetiapine. Sorry about my pronunciation. If it was wrong, if it's right, then high five me later. They found this in his system, which according to WebMD is a medication used to treat certain mental and mood disorders, including schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and depression. Oh, so you must be thinking, was he sad? Is this suicide? Was he taking like depression meds? So quetiapine belongs to a class of drugs known as atypical antipsychotics. Not exactly an SSRI. And it works by helping to restore the balance of certain natural substances in the brain. Now, it wouldn't do much to make a person high, so if you're pleading the case that he just liked to take whatever pills he could find, it's not going to be super fun. And it's not even going to make a dent in your depression if you just take one. That's not how antidepressants work. It's not how antipsychotics work. Some antipsychotics might work right away, but this one does have to build up. It's cumulative. So if you just take it once, there's really no... it's not advantageous in any way. It will probably make you kind of sleepy, though.
Okay.
But this is curious, right? Like, where did that come from? Because we do know that Eric did not have a prescription for quetiapine or a diagnosis that would warrant it. But Kouri did.
Oh.
She was prescribed that medication.
Oh.
I don't have a mental health diagnosis or a, like, any kind of... They did not call that upon the stand for Kouri. That was not... No expert was called in to say she was this, that, or the other thing. Frankly, because they didn't need it. If I had to gamble on which one of those things she was being medicated for, I would say it was bipolar. Because, and here is why, and this is just me being speculative, just my opinion. I'm not an expert. Somebody who buys a bunch of houses that are way beyond their financial means, which we will talk about later, that Kouri does, that's a very manic decision to make.
Right.
Throwing around money and then, like, her relationships and stuff, it just leads me to believe that she could have been in manic states at certain points in time.
Okay.
I'm not giving her any excuses. She was never manic enough to just, like, not know what was going on. This is not an Elisa Lam situation. However, if I had to... And she was medicated. However, if I have to guess which one she's medicated for, I think it's that one.
Okay.
So you guys can all form your own opinions.
That's so interesting, though, that they don't utilize that as, like, any kind of defense.
Truly, they don't have to. And really, the person who would utilize it, I think, would be Kouri. The defense should have been like, well, she was in a manic episode.
Well, that's what I mean.
Oh, yeah, no, they didn't. You know why they didn't? Probably because I guarantee you she didn't want to. She probably didn't present any of that.
They were like, this is literally the only thing that could...
It would have been her only Hail Mary.
To maybe not, like, have you go away for too long.
Yeah, she could have said, like, I didn't know what was happening.
Like,
maybe something did happen.
Be like the thing that at least, like, your kids won't then hate you forever for, or something. Like, because if we could, like, spin this correctly. If
you are well and truly bipolar,
use that.
Some people do experience episodes of psychosis. They do. And she could have... You're so right. I didn't even think of that. Like, they could have argued that. They could have said she didn't know what she was doing. Well, they couldn't. We'll find out that they couldn't have said she didn't know what she was doing. The trail is too long.
I don't even believe... I wouldn't believe that, but I would believe, like for her to make, like, a manic decision, like, for her to go to an extreme, because if she's doing extremes and other things...
Listen, they also say that this is an antipsychotic medication. She could have been like, I believed he was trying to kill me. If that's what you're being medicated for, they can say she's taking that. She has a psychotic disorder.
Yeah.
And you can pay any expert to say anything. I hate to tell you this, guys. It's a terrible thing that I learned. But, like, if you have a expert witness, whoever brought them in, they paid them. They will say whatever you need them to say, most likely. I mean, like, they're going to have to do their due diligence and make it, like, connect those dots. So you have to be skilled enough to be able to argue that.
But they're going to find the person that they need who will say what they need.
Exactly. And there are definitely forensic psychologists that would have been like, well, if she had a psychotic disorder, XYZ. Also, is she drinking on her antipsychotics? That could have done this. Like, there's plenty of things that they just didn't.
Right.
I didn't even consider that. You are correct. That is wild. So further toxicology testing showed that Eric was neither a habitual fentanyl user nor a habitual quetiapine user, which means that this is like his first time in a long time. So if you want to see if somebody's been using drugs like this for a long time, you can test their hair. You can find out how long it's been in their system in several different ways. He's not somebody who is using either one of them all the time.
Okay.
And aside from the alcohol the police knew very well that he ingested, there was no other substance in Eric's body. Not even the, air quotes, THC gummy that Kouri said he might have taken, that she leaned really... No THC in his system.
Right.
He had no gummy. Why the fuck would you even say that?
Well, because that could be the thing that's like laced with the fentanyl.
Or there's no THC though. He didn't take any gummies.
I know, but that...
You want to know why she said that? Because she didn't think anyone would test him.
Right.
It's very obvious in the body cam footage that when they say, we're going to have to perform an autopsy, she has lost her cool. That's when her head goes in her hands and she starts rocking back and forth. She goes, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, when they say autopsy. When they say autopsy to Eric's sisters, they're like, yes, autopsy.
Right.
Kouri goes, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Because she did not think it was going to happen.
Yeah.
100%. In addition to all this evidence, no suicide note was discovered, and Eric had not been notably depressed. So if you're going to swallow a handful of pills and you have a family, a lot of times people do leave a note. Nothing.
Right.
And none of this seemed to add up, which is why the medical examiner declared Eric's manner of death to be unknown. So like cause of death, fentanyl poisoning, but your manner of death is homicide, suicide, unknown, all those things. This is like, he could not form a judgment based on what he saw.
Okay.
I also don't think Kouri anticipated that. I think that she thought, if anything, they would just be like, oh yeah, suicide right away. No, we don't have any evidence of that. The initial search of the house also didn't reveal much. This is what the police do. The detectives come in and they just comb through the house. But that wasn't the only thing to go on. Remember, Eric's sister Katie said she was in charge of everything. And she wasn't kidding. Not that Kouri was aware of that. Now, you might be thinking, maybe Kouri just wasn't very good with money. Perhaps he just put Katie in charge so that everything went smoothly in the event of Eric's sudden death or the need to plan his funeral. Or maybe Katie was just better with business, so Eric left the dealing with the business that he owned to her. You would be wrong. In the days following Eric's death, his family all gathered together to organize his funeral and hold each other up in their shock and grief. But Kouri did not join them because she was busy.
What was she doing?
She had to go close on that enormous mansion she planned to flip. Remember? She was like, we're celebrating because I just
oh, right.
Her offer was accepted on this mansion. So she had to go close. She didn't just go do business though. She went back to her house, invited a bunch of her friends over, got a bunch of bottles of champagne to pop, and celebrated her new acquisition.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah. It's super gross. That is just hours after Eric died in the house that he died in. Who is going to that party? Which one of your friends went? Ugh.
That's wild.
Yeah, and she has been reported by neighbors and friends as smiling, laughing, and drinking champagne.
The fuck?
Yeah. His family probably was looking at caskets.
Right.
Or urns. I don't know what became of him in that way. But she wasn't doing that. They were. Woo! An obituary also went out in the local news, which I am sure his parents or his sister probably wrote.
I don't know.
Well, you're reading it. Leslie, why don't you read us the obituary? We can surmise who did it, probably from what they say. But I also would like to know a little bit about Eric. We really do owe it to his family to kind of give us a little bit of a layout of who he is.
Yeah. I'm going to guess that they didn't write this.
Oh, no?
Here we go.
Really?
Mm-hmm. We'll see. I mean, I would think that they'd ask for this to be taken down.
Shit, really? Oh, my God. Give me
it. So I just want to put out there, just in case, I tried looking this up everywhere just to make sure that this is legit his obituary.
Mm-hmm.
So it's from Walker Mortuary in Utah. And if you look up his obituary, this is the only one that comes up. And so as far as I know, this is it.
Yeah, sure. Okay. That sounds right. It's from the funeral home.
Yeah. All right. So Eric Eugene Richins made his last extravagant and largely unexpected gesture on March 4th, 2022, signing off on a life in his own words, quote, "Live to the fullest and with few regrets." God certainly perfected the mold when Eric was born to Gene and Linda Richins on May 13th, 1982 in Bountiful, Utah.
Bountiful?
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I didn't know
it's if just
I
a funny adjective.
It is, yeah. Oh, that's the town. Bountiful.
It's called Bountiful?
Yes.
That's very funny.
Eric's world revolved around his family, his love for hunting, the family cattle ranch, and his insane drive as a successful entrepreneur. Being born into the Richins legacy shaped Eric's formative years and resulted in a lifetime of hard work, dedication, and fierce loyalty. Being the eldest was a dubious task, but he was up for the challenge and led and loved his sisters fiercely. So, okay, again, reading this, like, part of it feels like the family wrote this, but then other parts feel like she did, because, like, I don't know. Okay. At an early age, Eric learned the joys of keeping horses and cows around.
Family has a ranch, so yes.
He spent countless hours helping his dad work the ranch, hauling hay, feeding the animals, and mending fences. He loved his family unconditionally and was a devoted son, brother, and uncle. Eric was a family man who always strove to be the absolute best father and husband. He was an attentive and loving father to his 3 sons and a devoted husband to the love of his life and wife of 9 years, Kouri Richins. Eric did absolutely everything in his power to provide his family with every possible opportunity to learn, grow, and have fun. Growing up, Eric was a serious athlete and loved all sports, whether it was watching them or playing them. He was involved in cross country, basketball, baseball, and soccer. He was also the coach or assistant coach on all his boys' teams. He spent countless hours coaching and teaching the boys to play aggressive and give it their all. Eric truly cared about every single child he coached and wanted the absolute best for all of them.
This sounds like his family's victim impact statements.
Okay, so it might be...
It's mentioned a lot, the coaching and stuff.
I guess I just think that it's strange that they would have added her in the way that they did. I mean, they don't really talk about her too much, so they say, like...
And if it was written right away,
maybe, yeah. I know, but if the sister had, like, an inkling or something...
weird.
Okay. Eric was an avid outdoorsman and dedicated hunter. He was an excellent archer and marksman and had multiple trophy animals from all around the world, including Africa, Mexico, Canada, and the United States. There was never a dull moment when you were around Eric, whether it be him showing up to a family dinner with no socks or sleeves on his shirt because he had to make an emergency bathroom stop along the way, or his calling to tell you he rolled the 4-wheeler for the umpteenth time is stuck and needs you to come get him. I don't know why he would have no socks after a bathroom emergency. Worried about him.
Yeah. Also, like, you rolled a 4-wheeler? Are you okay? Hello?
I know.
That sounds
for
like
the umpteenth time.
That sounds like kind of a serious issue.
He's pretty crazy.
Okay.
Eric loved to have fun and was always the life of the party. He owned almost every motorized toy possible, from 4-wheelers and side-by-sides to trucks and snowmobiles. Because of this, he of course holds the Richins family record for most rolls and collisions of motorized vehicles, as well as most stitches received from a single incident. 200 on his face, to be exact.
Oh my God.
Eric was a member of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, or the LDS Church, which is Mormon. He served a 2-year mission in Mexico City, where he learned to speak Spanish fluently. He received a bachelor's degree from the University of Utah in International Studies with a minor in Spanish. Together, Eric's mission and his education truly shaped his business acumen. He had the perfect combination of business sense and foresight. He built a very successful masonry business from the ground up and helped many friends do the same. He had a special ability to build close relationships with everyone he worked with, which really allowed his business to thrive. Eric loved every aspect of his job, but most of all, he loved the people he worked for and those he worked with. Eric faithfully supported organizations that he truly believed in. He never was one that wanted recognition or accolades. He did most things anonymously and without recognition. Eric was a true champion of all people. It did not matter if you were an employee, family, friend, or the next random person walking down the street. If you needed anything, you could count on him. He truly cared about each person he met. He was always trying to help people find better situations in work and in life. Eric made sure to set aside to do what he loved most and made sure that everyone around him did the same. Eric loved fully, laughed loudly, and lived life with reckless abandon. He enjoyed great adventures to far-off places, but also cherished the small and finer things in life, like his Under Armour sweatsuits and spending time with the family and friends. I like the Under Armour sweatsuit part. No obstacle was too great for Rico. I don't know.
They called him that. They did.
Okay.
His sister called him that.
Okay.
So.
Okay. He simply viewed each one as a challenge. No peaks were too high, and the next adventure was always just around the next bend. So his sister might have wrote this then. Words can't describe the loneliness and loss that is felt in every heart that was lucky enough to know him. We all need to learn from Eric's example and be sure to make the time to have fun and do what we love. Thank you, Rico, for being such an inspiration and role model for us all. We love you, Eric, with all our hearts and more. Eric is, and then it just talks about the other parts. Yeah,
on his family. So yeah. Deep, like whoever answers Google's AI things said that Kouri wrote that. I don't believe that. I feel like that, especially because you said they called him Rico. Yeah. I only ever heard his sister refer to him as that because they use that in their like victim impact statements.
Yeah.
As like a pet name. I don't know that Kouri used it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, that is an insane obituary. Obits are usually something that is, well, I mean, back in olden times, was printed in the newspaper and put like on your local like website newspaper too. And they're usually just like, this person died, it was sad, maybe you're going to include some circumstances, maybe you won't. They were loving, wonderful, they enjoyed, like, say, tennis, walking their dog and going on hikes. They loved their family. Here's a list of their family. They want to be remembered as XYZ. Donate to this cause.
Yeah.
Amen. They're not usually like 3 pages of details.
Yeah, that was a lot, wasn't it?
That's a lot for an obituary, 100%.
I do wonder if there were like multiple eyes on this.
Maybe.
So possible. It was like, here's a draft I did. Do you want to add anything?
Yeah. Could have been a collaborative effort.
Because I think that this part's so weird to me. The very beginning, that he made his last extravagant and largely unexpected gesture on March 4th, 2022, signing off on a life, in his own words, lived to the fullest and with few regrets. Like, what does that mean?
I would never want someone to call my death an extravagant gesture unless it really was.
And then live to the fullest and with few. I'm so confused. Like, they almost make it sound like a suicide at the beginning. Oh, sorry. Unalive at the.
No, you can say it on our podcast. I mean, don't say it in a TikTok necessarily.
Yeah, but
it reads very strange. I mean, but also it could just be his grieving family who is just trying to cobble together words because listen, like, he died out of absolutely nowhere. This isn't someone that was prepared to write a eulogy or an obituary or whatever this is. They were not prepared for this. So it could just be that they're like, well, I need to say as much about him as possible. And like, I'm not here to judge anyone's grief. And if it was written by someone who was genuinely grieving, I get it, man. But it also could be a very long explanation, over-explanation, some might say, out of like a fear and guilt scenario.
Yeah.
Who's to say? This is also a really relevant time to say this. I am not going to go into the saga of the book she wrote and how she self-published it and how she lied about making a fortune on it. She definitely didn't. But what I will say right here, especially because we're talking about her writing, is that she did not write that book. She paid a ghostwriter, and I need you to gird your loins, $10,000 to write that book, which is a monstrosity even by AI standards.
That is the most insane
thing. Book that is a dialogue she created between her children and herself about the death of her husband and how they were processing that grief. You hired a ghostwriter for that. The only reason it's acceptable in any way, the way it's written, where it's just like sad upon sad upon sad, is if it was actually something that helps you and your children process grief. You didn't write it. Neither did your children. Somebody you hired, probably on like Fiverr or something, did.
Yeah, that's wild.
Fuck you, dude. That had nothing to do with your grief process. You wanted to be on Good Morning America. The end.
Yeah.
I cannot with that.
I mean, that is a lot of money. So, like, it feels like.
Well, she also operates as though she's very wealthy at all times.
No. I guess what I mean, though, is like, I don't know how much hiring a ghostwriter costs for different like levels of ghostwriting.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like 10,000 is like did she write it and then they read it and then they kind of rewrote what she wrote, or did they, if she was just like, write this?
Several notes on that.
Okay.
1, if anyone wants to pay someone $10,000 to ghostwrite them a children's book, please call me.
Yeah, sure.
I would love $10,000 and I can ghostwrite the shit out of a children's book.
Mm-hmm.
Second, if you paid something, Leslie, we read this book last week.
We did. Yeah.
Would you pay $10,000 for the content in that book?
I mean, no.
It wasn't even written well. Grammatically speaking, it wasn't written well. It's also not like laid out well. It is 42 pages of, are you with me when I'm in danger? Are you with me on the bus? Are you with me on a bench? I'm sad all the time. Do you know I'm sad all the time? You paid someone else to come up with that.
Right.
Great.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
It's insane that unless they also did all the artwork, which wasn't great, but there was a lot. It was plentiful. There's 42 pages worth of artwork. So if they also did all the illustrating, okay, fine. Like maybe you had to pay them a lot of money. She also claims that she recouped her losses for that, but she absolutely did not. Like you self-publish on Amazon, you weren't making pennies. You'd have to sell so many books. But that's not the point. I just needed to drop that in when we're talking about her writing. So who knows who wrote that obituary, because she could have said she did and then handed somebody a stack of facts and paid them to do it. As if all of this wasn't bad enough, 2 days after Eric died, so that would be March 6th, Kouri tried to gain access to Eric's safe, the one he kept for his business. And when she couldn't open it, she just called a locksmith and had them drill it open. Then she took out somewhere between $125,000 and $165,000 in cash. At first, I was like, who the fuck has that much money laying around? I still think that. However, if it is a business thing and you are a stonemason, there is a chance that somebody paid for something large and you have that. But it's not like your personal bank account. It's like your business expenses. It's not like stonemasonry is cheap to make or buy. So, okay. Still, he was doing all right. But in the process of doing this, calling the locksmith, having the business safe drilled into and open, Eric's sister Katie showed up. I'm guessing she was notified because technically the safe and the business belonged to her. Yeah. And she did try to stop Kouri. She was like, listen, you're not entitled to take all that money. All of Eric's assets have been put into a trust. And Katie, is the executor of that trust. She's like, you can't just take all that money. It's not for your kids. I don't know what you're doing with it. You can't take it. Eric didn't want you to take it. That was the first Kouri had heard of that.
Yeah.
She did not care for it and assaulted Katie to the point where the police had to be called in.
Oh, wow.
People don't like to talk about that one either. She went after her. She wasn't just yelling. She was trying to hurt her. And Katie, good on her, called the damn cops. Yeah, call the fucking cops. At that point, she's also done trying to be nice to Kouri. Because then at first they were like, oh, I'll help you through it. We talked about it last week. But now the whole Richins family was just, totally done. And they disclosed to the police what they knew of Eric and Kouri's relationship, mostly Katie. And it is not great. So here's what Katie tells the police led up to the creation of that trust. This is just financial and is just up until the point that the trust is created, okay? So in June of 2013, Kouri and Eric get married, and there was a prenup. Okay, Eric already had a successful stonemasonry business and a home and a bunch of stuff. Their family has the ranch that makes a lot of money. He's got to protect his assets. Good on you. The prenup says that Eric's assets would remain his in the event of a divorce, but Kouri would be entitled to certain assets if Eric died while they were still married.
Okay.
You're saying, I have to die. Ugh, not good. Now, we all have to remember that's what Kouri believed would legally happen in the event of Eric's death. She thought that was all still holding up. Then sometime in the years 2015 to 2017, Kouri reportedly took out at least 4 life insurance policies on Eric, totaling nearly $2 million, without his knowledge. This information shows up again on this timeline slightly different. I don't know if she tried to do it twice or if it's been reported weirdly, but just she did that. $2 million in life insurance policy, didn't tell him. In March of 2019, Kouri Richins obtained a $250,000 home equity line of credit on her husband Eric's house, which means you hold the house like as collateral for a giant loan. She took out the loan using a power of attorney without Eric's knowledge. Didn't tell him she was doing it, but just said she could as his wife. And she did that to fund her real estate business, which we'll get into later. But that house, I should say, was not their like joint marital home. It was a house he had bought before they got married. That was his personal property. He never put Kouri's name on it. She was never part of it. She just lives in it. But she was able to take out a loan with that house against it. Not something Eric would have ever been okay with, but she did it anyway. In April of 2019, Kouri formed K. Richins Realty, LLC, in Utah, and began purchasing and flipping homes in Summit and Wasatch counties. That's her real estate business. She wanted to be a house flipper. I really think she was going to be on TLC. That's what her brain was like. I'm going to be on TV or something. Whew, good thing she had all that secret money to start her business with, because $250,000 probably did the trick. In September of 2020, Eric discovered these things. He found out that Kouri had withdrawn $100,000 from his bank accounts without his knowledge. She racked up $30,000 in credit card debt, again, without his knowledge, and secured several loans using a fraudulent power of attorney. So that same thing she used to get the $250,000, she'd gotten more like that too. The real estate is not going as well as Kouri claims, but we will come back to that. After finding all of this insane debt, like you have to now absorb a shit ton of debt, like hundreds of thousands of dollars your wife incurred and lied to you about and forged your signature to get. So after he finds out, he confronts Kouri and she's like, I'm going to pay it back with all this money I'm making for my house flipping business. Like, don't worry about it. I'm going to pay every penny back and we'll start today. She does not pay any of that back ever at all. Sneak peek into the future. Later at trial, the prosecutor will allege that Kouri misused approximately $494,000 of Eric's money in total.
Wow.
Yep. She also is accused of misappropriating tax payments on her real estate ventures totaling $134,346,000. That is so much debt. And we're not done with the debt yet.
Oh my God.
That's just the first half of the debt.
Ooh.
Moving on. In October of 2020, Eric, who has had the fuck enough, talks with his family about everything that's happened. He's like, it's not good. There's a shit going on with Kouri. And he also consults a divorce lawyer and an estate planning attorney. But he decides that he's not going to go through with the divorce. He tells Katie, so he sits down with his sister and is like, because of my sons, I don't think I'm going to go through with this divorce. He says, I plan on staying in this marriage until his sons are like all over 18. But at this point, it's an act. Like, he doesn't trust Kouri. He doesn't love Kouri. He's a little afraid of Kouri, obviously. Like, she spent all your money and forged your signature. I'd be afraid of her too. But he wants to like stick out this family life for his kids. But he also does say to his sister, if anything happens to me, Kouri did it.
Wow.
Every time I've ever run into someone saying that in one of these cases, that person did it.
Yeah.
Like, they did it. It's not even like a thing that gets misappropriated. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
So wild. Eric then tells his sister that he plans to put everything he owns into a trust for his boys and to protect his business and his business partner, because he does have a business partner. And he asks Katie then to be his trustee. That is a huge ask. And in addition to that, he would like her to keep that to herself. Don't tell Kouri we've done this. It is secret. And she's like, that's a lot for me to do. She just begs him to she's like, just get divorced. Please, just, none of us, we're all nervous around her. We don't trust her. It's scary. The boys might be in danger. Like, just get the divorce, please. And he's like, no. I got to keep their family together. And I know you mentioned once or twice when we were talking about this that he was kind of religious. Like, he has a Mormon family.
Yeah, I would think
that not getting a divorce business, that could have been had something to do with his religion.
Yeah, I mean, especially I think with any religion, it's like pretty frowned upon, but definitely like in the Mormon religion. However, like, I mean, I don't know how the rest of his family actually felt, but if he was talking to just his sister, that's the thing, like the sister saying that, but like maybe the parents like maybe wouldn't be as.
I don't know if they comment on divorce thing. I know more he has a couple sisters, and they both say that they really wanted him to divorce her. And, but he could hold those beliefs himself. And also, I think that there is probably going to be a difference in perspective regarding trying to escape a marriage when you're talking to women and when you're talking to a man.
Right.
Especially in a faith that is very patriarchal and is very much like man is like the who holds everything together. You should be able to just like make your wife mind or whatever. I'm not saying they're that way. That's me generalizing very widely, but like I could see how he would see the situation differently than his sisters might. I get that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's also a level of like obviously she's taking full advantage.
Sure.
Like Kouri is full advantage of like her husband's money, but she doesn't have anything into her name at this point. Like
and if they get divorced, she gets nothing. That's in the prenup. If they get divorced, he keeps everything that is his.
So I feel like he's overall thinking, I do get it. He's probably overall thinking about the family, but it has gotten to a very toxic place. He's probably also thinking, well, no, they have a while. Those kids aren't young.
Yeah. He's just putting.
I mean, that would be another 9. That would be like another.
They are young.
They're young. Yeah. That would be a long time.
Yeah, it would be a long time. I think he's also thinking like, well, if we get divorced and she gets nothing, but she takes the kids, what am I going to see them? Am I going to, because traditionally, even if you are the moneymaker, a lot of times if a woman wants this, a court will just side with the mother no matter what.
Yeah.
And I think Kouri is vengeful enough that he could have been afraid that she would just take those kids and go. She'd be like, give me money or I'm keeping your kids, which she does later. So.
Yeah, I know. I also think, though, he'd have pretty good standing where they are to, like, keep them, mostly.
I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, I'm just saying that, like, while it seems inconceivable to a lot of us that you would stay in a marriage like that, I assume there are valid reasons and fears.
I mean, I hear it more than not, you know. It's never if it's...
Plus, I'm sure he was thinking, well, my kids need a mother.
Yes.
Even if I want to take custody of them, I wouldn't take... they need a mother.
And they're safer under my roof, maybe.
Yeah, I'm with them, too. She wasn't a great single parent. Surprise, surprise. Anyway. Just interesting. So begrudgingly, Katie, though, does agree to become his secret trustee. So in November of 2020, Eric changes his will. He forms the Eric Richins Living Trust, and control of his estate is placed with his sister, Katie Richins Benson. The trust is established for the benefit of his 3 children. Eric transfers his business partnership interest into the trust, which means that his share of his business will go to Katie as well. So as I mentioned with the safe, she owned his half of the business, a stonemasonry business, which is profitable. He also designates the trust as the beneficiary of his $500,000 life insurance policy, which is what he had. Kouri tried to get millions, but he had a $500,000 life insurance policy that he designated would go to Katie and specifically not to Kouri.
Right.
Don't give her this money. So it's not going well. The police hear all this, right? They reveal this, and they're flabbers. They are gasted. But not gasted enough to investigate anything, because that takes effort and time. And remember, nobody has murder experience in this town. So they're like, well, you know what? We're going to go back and look at that house again, and we're going to go over our notes and make sure that we talk to Kouri, which we did, and we have notes. And then they stalled out and did nothing for months. And it literally says in the police's like interview with the prosecution, they use the words stalled out.
Yeah.
Why, though? Because there are so many things you could investigate, as I will get into in a second. There is no reason to not be able to continue that investigation because she is not slick. I imagine these guys were just like, well, what else does one do in a situation like this? We did look around.
Yeah.
But the Richins family was not prepared to throw in the towel. And good for them, man. I wouldn't be either. Enter Todd Gabler, private eye.
Nice.
Hopping back into the future for a minute. According to the Park Record News during the trial, this is what they report about Todd. Okay. Quote, Todd Gabler told the Summit County jury that he was initially contacted shortly after Eric's death in March of 2022 by Crystal Bowman Carter. I know we have not met Crystal. We never talked to Crystal again. She was the estate planning attorney Eric had hired to create his trust. She did all the legal documents. And I imagine she saw this and was like, oh, no, this is murder. So, quote, Gabler was then connected in April of 2022 with Eric's sister, Katie. So this estate attorney makes the connection to Katie, whom Eric had designated as trustee. And the private investigator then explains the role of a PI and that the procedures he follows when he investigates the case. So he's like, here's what I do, here's who I am. He emphasizes that his role was to find the truth about what happened to Eric, whether he died of an accidental overdose by his own hand or if Kouri killed him. He's like, I'm going to find out what happened to him. Surreptitiously made Eric ingest a massive amount of fentanyl. Quote, the truth is very often difficult for us to accept, Gabler said. The independent investigation kicked off immediately. So he was like, here's what I do. Here's who I am. Here's how I can help you. And they were like, yup, sign me up. Okay. Rightfully so. This guy is fucking amazing at his job. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I've seen a lot of PIs in a lot of cases. This is the most successful one.
Nice.
By far. So they sign up right away. He gets them immediately to work. And it should be added that Katie's husband, Clint, pays for the operations. He's like, I'm going to pay for this lawyer, but they are handled through the trust. That doesn't mean the trust paid for it. That means the trust was the go-between. But Clint paid for it. Gabler testified, quote, during his cross-examination that he billed around 936 hours in this case at an hourly rate of $125.
Nice.
Though some specialty services, such as digital forensics, cost about $200 an hour.
Oh, boy.
Defense attorney Kathy Nestor estimated his invoice was more than $100,000 for the PI. Later in her victim impact statement, Katie emphasizes that she and her husband paid Todd Gabler Private Eye's tab out of their own pocket.
Yeah.
And it nearly ruined them. She's like, we are ruined. Our family has been totally devastated by everything that Kouri did.
Yeah.
But she kept all of Eric's money intact set aside for his sons. She's like, that's for the kids, man. I'm not taking it.
Sweet.
It's amazing. And this is for their own well-being. Like I would have fully understood if they took that money out of the trust to make sure.
At least a portion,
at least a portion. But like, it's his death. It's his kids. I would get it. But they were like, no, we're not doing that. We're paying it.
Yeah. Like we want to do this.
I hope if they have any kind of issues, because they do have custody of those children at this point. Spoiler alert. I do hope if they have any issues, they just like recouped a little bit of it just to help them like raise those kids. They also had 2 daughters. They didn't have no kids. They have kids. Now they have more kids.
Right.
So that's just something to note.
And they get to claim them on their taxes now.
Yeah.
Maybe they get some fostering money. Maybe. I don't know.
No, they're not fostering.
Okay.
So unlike the local police department, Todd Gabler Private Eye did have some experience with serious crime because he is a veteran private investigator and digital forensics expert with 34 years of experience. And this was not his first rodeo.
Yes, sir.
Ooh. Yes, Todd. The police seemed to struggle to procure evidence, but for Todd, this one was a walk in the park. Why? That was a question a lot of people asked. Like, why did Todd like zoom in and get so much information and like just go so far ahead of the police? Well, first of all, the police were like, I don't know what to do. And second of all these cell phones and computers in that house and in that Kouri owned too, were technically in Eric's name, and therefore Katie owned them.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And since the house fell under that umbrella as well, searching that was free game too. They had access to everything. everything, because technically Eric owned it all and then it all went to Katie and she could just approve. Why didn't the police figure that out? We're not going to talk about it. But what this PI did uncover was like batshit crazy. He found a drug dealer, an affair, and millions of dollars worth of debt.
Oh.
Yeah, which Todd immediately, to his credit, turned over to the police as it came in. Here it is. He's just streaming it to the cops. He's like, here's this evidence. They're like, whoa, that's a lot.
Yeah.
They were surprised. But you know what? I don't think it's hard to surprise them at this point. So, but they do jump on board. I will give them credit for the fact that once they get this information, they're like, how do we help? Let's do whatever we can.
Yeah.
So good on you, cops, for that. You're right.
They're like, oh, shit.
And they're like, we didn't do it. Oh, no, you did it. This looks bad. So guys, from here on out, we're going to go through Todd's evidence, which is basically the prosecution's entire case because he collected all of the evidence, which I have hinted to already. So we will be heavily referencing important testimony, which will make this timeline turn into more of a summary at this point. So some of this information may have been gathered by just Todd in texts and phone calls and interviews, and some of it may have been presented in court. In the interest of time and unity, I'm just putting it all together.
I feel like that could be a podcast, just Todd.
I would listen to Todd say anything. I got to tell you, Todd's real good at his job. And for those of you who have watched this case, because you can on Core TV, I watched so many hours of this, you guys. There's so many hours, and there's no way I can cover everything. I just can't. We're just two little people in a little room, and I can't give you 20 hours of trial. But if you do want to watch it, as trials go, it's a good watch. Some trials get fucking boring because they repeat. But remember, the defense does like nothing. So you're just listening to storytelling. They like cross-examine them occasionally, but their cross-examinations don't really hold much water and they don't take that long. So you just get to listen to this slam dunk. Moving forward. First, Todd and the police department had to find out where the fentanyl came from. Todd's like, first we got to find the like why it, like, where did the drug come from? Right. Spoiler alert, it was Kouri's housekeeper. You know, the one she tried to throw under the bus for moving their prescriptions around. Ooh. Remember the 911 or the body cam footage when she was like, I don't know where anything is. The housekeeper moved it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you mean your drug dealer moved it? Okay. Kouri and her housekeeper, Carmen Lauber, had exchanged hundreds of text messages in early 2022. These communications had been deleted from both women's devices. We know that because when you're forensically investigating any kind of digital evidence, you can see that it's been deleted and then you can just pop it right back up. Because nothing electronic is ever really gone. Mm-hmm. If you text some shit to people, if you put it online, if it's in Facebook Messenger, oddly enough, that is the one that is the most encrypted, which is wild. They still found all of her messages, but if you type that anywhere, I don't care how much you delete it, it is still there. Someone can find it. Don't type anything in any way if you don't want it to still exist. Anyway, people are so dumb. I just can't believe they still do this.
Yeah.
So, namely what comes out is a story where Carmen sold Kouri fentanyl that she had acquired from a local dealer 4 times in early 2022 under false pretenses. And Carmen, as luck would have it, wasn't hard for Todd or the police to locate. Well, let's find her. How do we track her down? Oh, don't worry. She's already in jail on separate drug charges.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Initially, Carmen did not want to talk so much. She was like, well, I don't want to talk to the police. She didn't think she had anything to do with Eric's death, as she had asked Kouri about what happened right after Eric died. And Kouri said, oh, Eric died of a brain aneurysm. No.
What?
Why would you say that? Why would you lie about
That's
it?
Just a complete
Why would you lie about it? Because also, like, it's everywhere that it was fentanyl, and it was everywhere immediately. Cool. Was there evidence of this conversation? Of course there was. The police quickly informed Carmen that this is not true. It was definitely all the fentanyl in his system that killed him. They're like, no, this is not an aneurysm. Fentanyl killed Eric. And then Carmen is like, oh, no. To be fair, this woman does look like she is immediately hit by guilt when she realizes she contributed to somebody's death. That's not what she signed up for.
Right.
Which I'll lay out for you in a second. But like, she's not a killer. She is just somebody that's making money on drugs.
Just a drug
dealer.
Just
a drug dealer. Not great, especially not with fentanyl, but also not a purposeful murderer, right? So eventually, in order to secure Carmen's testimony, the prosecution was able to offer Carmen immunity from Eric Richins' murder case in exchange for a truthful interview and her testimony during the trial. This is a little bit shady because she definitely was motivated to say what they wanted her to say. However, there is so much text message evidence that what she says is true. So I have no reason not to believe her. Now, here is a summation of Carmen's testimony and the information from her interviews as told from the Park Record News. Quote, jury members heard from Lauber, who swore Kouri asked her to purchase pain pills 3 times before Eric died from a fentanyl overdose, and once more after he died. Why would you need more fentanyl? Were you trying to plant it somewhere and didn't get there in time? Yeah. Carmen provided testimony as part of a plea deal with Summit, Wasatch, and Salt Lake counties, as well as the federal government, to avoid a potential sentence of life in prison for separate drug-related felony charges. She did a lot of drug stuff. She's sober now, I think. Quote, I already knew that Eric had passed away when Summit County investigators mentioned it was from an overdose, though that hit hard, Carmen said. Quote, only for the fact that if that's what happened, then I needed to step up and take accountability of my part in this, what happened and what I was asked for. Okay. Lauber, 54 of Heber City, became emotional at several points on the stand. She recounted years of substance abuse, starting with using marijuana in 6th grade. 6th grade? Flynn is in 6th grade.
I know. They're just babies.
Before escalating to harder drugs in adulthood. She testified that she's been sober for 4 years and is currently on probation for drug distribution. Okay. However, Carmen had only just started Wasatch County's drug court program in late 2021. I think I didn't look into drug court too much. I think it's some sort of probationary, like, rehabilitation program where you can serve your time and be rehabilitated into society for like less of a sentence or whatever. I think all in all, it's a good thing. I think drug court is like holds you accountable a little bit longer and a little bit better. Whatever. So Carmen had worked for Kouri's aunt as a personal house cleaner for 9 years, and that's how she met Kouri. Then she started cleaning Kouri's home every other Friday, as well as properties Kouri owned through her real estate business. Kouri and Carmen would discuss Carmen's drug history as well as her experience in drug court. So that's how Kouri found out that this woman had a connection to drugs. She became friends with her. She was like, in full disclosure, if I'm working for you, I'm in drug court right now. I'm sure she had to report her employment and stuff. So probably how she knew. And she gave her full life story. Evidence presented in court showed Carmen still struggled with her sobriety during those initial weeks and months, which she said was because she worked around other people who were actively using. Okay. Carmen testified that Kouri asked her to purchase drugs 4 times, starting in early February 2022. She alleged that Kouri asked her for a favor and wanted Carmen to obtain pain medication for an investor, specifically some kind of opiate. Okay. She's like, someone who's putting money into my house flipping business wants some drugs, and I need to be their concierge for this.
Okay.
I don't know how believable that is, but I don't know how believable that isn't. I don't sell drugs. So whatever. Carmen knew a woman who was an active user through work and asked the woman to purchase some for her. Carmen testified that she gave the woman $600, which Kouri repaid later. A few hours later, Carmen had a mailing envelope full of pills. She said Kouri picked them up in her driveway the next morning. There's the exchange. Around February 5th, 2022, Carmen reached out to an acquaintance on Facebook Messenger. I told you they could pull it anyway. After Kouri allegedly asked her for something stronger and, quote, the Michael Jackson stuff. She spoke with Susan Kohler. I think that's another person who has contacts, who put her in contact with Robert Crozier, who is the person that can find fentanyl. Both Kohler and Crozier could be called as witnesses later on in the trial, though they are both kind of on drugs the whole time and not super reliable. But they did get fentanyl. And yes, guys, I know Michael Jackson overdosed on propofol. Most people, if they're saying the Michael Jackson stuff and they know his case, they'll mean propofol. But A, I don't think these women knew that.
Yeah.
B, propofol is way harder to procure and administer. It's not a street drug. Nobody's selling it or buying it. It's a controlled IV drip. You can't swallow it or snort it. You have to put it into your veins. And it makes you like immediately unconscious. Mm-hmm. And because that's like anesthesia for surgery. It's not like a painkiller. It is anesthesia.
Right.
And C, the prevailing factors that are well known about Michael Jackson's death. So if you only know cursory information about how this man died, this very, very famous man died, you know that he OD'd on a really strong sedative that he got from a crooked doctor because he couldn't sleep. And so he took this and went to sleep and never woke up. That's the very common baseline information about Michael Jackson's death. So like if your desired result is I want someone to go to sleep and never wake up, asking for, quote, the Michael Jackson stuff would probably get you there.
Right.
So some people want to like split hairs over the fact that it's propofol and it could have been something different. I don't think that's the case here. I think she's just like, I want something that will knock you the fuck out. Mm-hmm. Back to the local news. Quote, Crozier allegedly told Carmen that he knew someone with fentanyl, pills even, which she confirmed with Kouri, and Kouri said, great, get him. Carmen said Kouri instructed her to pick up $1,000 in cash at a home Kouri owned in Midway as payment for the pills. Crozier and Carmen met at a gas station in Draper for the exchange on February 11, 2022, a fact that is confirmed by security cameras. Carmen also testified that she was given a small plastic bag with 15 to 20 light green pills that does correspond with fentanyl. Prosecutors showed selfies of Lauber and a woman who drove her there as evidence of the trip. You can see this whole thing. Like, it definitely happened. Carmen said she buried the pills near a fireplace in the backyard of the Midway house. That's one of Kouri's like real estate ventures, because she felt uncomfortable having them. Okay, fair enough. You had a lot of illegal bullshit. Prosecutors have previously argued that this pill purchase is significant because it occurred shortly before they believe Kouri attempted to poison Eric with a drug-laced sandwich on Valentine's Day. Spoiler alert, she is a repeat offender or a practice poisoner, much like our mushroom friend in Australia. Don't try it first. Don't do that. If you did it once, failed, and then do it again, you think that first time is never going to come back to haunt you? You are incorrect. Especially because they always need medical attention. It's never like, oh, I was a little sick and then I went. They always tell people and they go to the doctor or something. It's like, people hurt my head. Okay, moving on. Kouri allegedly requested a third purchase and Carmen contacted that Crozier guy, again, her like fentanyl hookup. She could not recall the exact date, but prosecutors have said it was shortly before Eric died on March 4th in 2022 because they have the text messages.
Right.
Carmen said she picked up another $1,000 in cash from the Midway house. And I gotta like, we need to like understand that $1,000 is life-changing money for this woman. Like, of course, that's why she's doing these things. So then she meets her hookup at the gas station in Draper again, place that has security cameras, so we know they were there. He gave her 15 to 20 round pills. This time they're blue, so that's a higher dosage of fentanyl. And Carmen said that Kouri picked them up from her home in Heber City.
Okay.
These exchanges are very well documented. They for sure happened. The fourth and final purchase didn't happen until after Eric's death. Carmen recalled learning from a coworker about Eric's death. The day or so after it happened, she testified that as soon as she found out, she called Kouri and said, please tell me those pills were not for him. And that Kouri claimed that Eric died of a brain aneurysm. The text messages are there. She's like, no, that's not how he died. I needed to relax or something. I might have that in a later quote. Prosecutors showed the jury a text exchange between Carmen and Kouri on March 6, 2022, which is after Eric's death, in which Kouri asked if Carmen still had a hookup. Carmen replied yes, but seemed surprised, saying Kouri had enough to worry about. She's like, why are you looking for drugs? Your husband is dead. Like, go fix that shit. Kouri replied that that she just needed to get her mind off of things. So she just wanted to buy some drugs.
Right.
That's what, to relax, you just buy some illegal drugs. Great. Carmen purchased more pills from the same dude for Kouri under the same routine. She said this time, though, Kouri wrote Carmen a paper check dated March 6th. No evidence of that, right? A paper check, which was deposited on March 9th. You can see that. That's so very obvious. Prosecutors showed a photo of a $1,300 check from Kouri Richins Realty signed by Kouri with "Construction Clean Midway" on the memo line. Ooh. Carmen testified that she did not clean any houses that week. Especially if you can find any kind of like photo evidence that they're meeting somewhere else. And by the way, Midway was what Kouri called the mansion she bought. Remember the one that she goes to pay for after Eric dies? And we will get to the real estate nonsense next, I promise. After each pill purchase, Carmen said she deleted the text messages so as not to create any evidence that she violated her drug court rules. Because remember, she's on some sort of like drug court probation, but she's just selling shit tons of fentanyl. Okay. In one instance, Carmen had been late to a court-ordered group therapy session and was sanctioned to community service. They're like, "You're late." And she's like, "I won't tell you I was delivering pills." Prosecutors displayed a letter written by Kouri that claimed Carmen had volunteered at a horse rescue by cleaning stalls and performing other tasks, which Carmen also said did not happen.
Oh my gosh.
Whew, that is not a good look.
It is not.
Bad look. You can't just be like, "I also must admit that I like fentanyl." Right. That's not a thing. You can't do that. Mm-hmm. Well, I believe that our case now has the means. Sure. We know how she could have done it. She had a shit ton of fentanyl. But what was the motive? Mm-hmm. It seems fairly obvious that it was money, but they did have to prove this in a court of law. You just have to cross all your T's and dot all your I's. So if you were to ask Kouri Richins what she did for a living in 2022, you're like, "Hey, what do you do, girl?" She would tell you that she had a very successful house flipping business because she had such a good eye for design and such a mind for business that she could not go wrong. She'd tell you that she made money hand over fist.
Yeah.
Like, what's the first thing you think of when I say people who flip houses? Probably TV shows.
Yeah. I think of like the Property Brothers.
Right. Or like the Magnolia Homes people or like whatever. People that are like kind of Netflix famous.
Yeah.
They have excellent taste and a shit ton of money. And they live a lifestyle that is like kind of glamorous, right?
Sure.
We talked before about how the area they live in kind of influencer glam, right? Like if you want to go there and have your picture taken, you look rich.
Yeah.
All of this kind of fits together with someone who lives in that area and just wants to look like she's got it all together and is lots of money and has a picture perfect life. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, house flipping is the business of buying rundown properties for a low price. Supposed to be low. She didn't, it wasn't nearly low enough when she bought them, but it's supposed to be like dirt cheap houses that are teardowns are close. And then you yourself will renovate them. And then you're supposed to sell them for way more money than you paid in the first place with the price of renovation. That's the expectation. Not always the reality, though.
Right. Because normally it's a team. Normally it's like...
Sure, yes.
Like you could have the more realtor aspect and then the person that's like the contractor.
Exactly. And then the contractor hires all the people to do all the stuff.
Good with it, like maybe building, and others good with electrician.
Yeah, because even if you have a contractor, like, well, I got to call my plumbers, I got to call my electrician, I got to call my tile guy, I got to call my cabinet guy, I got to call my carpet guy. There's a guy for everything.
Right.
I just redid my kitchen. It costs so much money.
It does.
And you're correct. There's a team. However, if the only experience you had with house flipping prior to deciding you could do it was watching the Property Brothers, you might think you could.
Yeah.
They don't look like they have an enormous team when they're on TV. They look like they're just doing this because you don't see behind the scenes. It's like on Queer Eye when they're like, in one day, this whole house is different. And Bobby Burke's like, I know. I had 150 people in here and I didn't sleep for a week.
Right.
And they're like, well, I gave advice on style.
Yeah.
Like, I know. The reno is fucking hard. It's a lot of work, but I think she probably was like, I can do it. Just little me.
Or just like, I'll find the houses and then pay somebody to do it. Like, she just really...
I think she thought she could do most of it. I think she was like, I'll just tell people what to do, but I'm the final say in everything. I think she has a very different version of reality in her head.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So in the official statement...
like, this will be fun.
Exactly. I will immediately be successful without doing any work.
Yeah.
The official statement on her company is that they focused on high-end fix and flips properties in the Midway and Camas, Utah areas. Now, in order to get into the high-end part of this business, you have to have a ton of liquid money. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to just buy a house and pay a bill with no hesitation. You got to be a very rich person. I mean, you can have investors. That is a real thing. People could say, I want in on this. That looks lucrative. Here's $25,000. And when you sell it, you have to give me $35,000. Right. Everybody wins or whatever. They get a cut of the price. That some people do that. Kouri didn't. Hers were all fake. But still, it's a thing that happens. And she said they needed fentanyl. Okay.
It's just such a weird drug to ask for.
It really is so specific and weird. Like, what that is a point other people have made, because if you talk to 20 different drug dealers, or drug users, not even dealers, drug users, all of them will go, I won't touch fentanyl with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
I will take all the cocaine, opiates, stimulants that you can throw at me, all of it in a handful. I will not touch fentanyl. I'll die.
It's just like not a fun drug.
I mean, some people think it is, but they are also unconscious in a corner.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it's not...
That's heroin too, though, so...
But, like, going back to, I think what we were saying last week, fentanyl is definitely one of those drugs that you would know that somebody is on something.
Yeah.
Shit got weird. Like, all of their money is getting spent on that, particularly. Like, they are not... Like, their whole mood and demeanor has changed. Like, they're not just, like, taking fentanyl and then, like, going to coach a boys soccer team.
Yeah, they're not, like, running a half marathon or something. No, it's fucking up your life. And also, like, the fact that it is not a drug user's drug should be a red flag.
Yeah, and nobody's just like, you know what? This seems just fun to relax
on
tonight.
Scotia Fent before bed?
Yeah, that's not the thing.
Fenty fold and then go to sleep? No. No, people are very wary of fentanyl.
It is not the same as, like, just...
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
Anyway.
The truth is that Kouri Richins established a real estate business in 2019 and bought over 20 properties to flip in Utah. And it never registers in my brain that she bought that many houses.
I know.
It's a lot. That's a lot of houses.
Well, and then, so that's 2019 to like 2022.
Yeah, that's a short period of time. You bought a lot of houses.
Unless she bought more after his death too. But still, that's a lot.
Maybe some of them would have had to.
Because normally it's like, I mean, I have no idea. I can't. I don't know. But I would think like one or two a year, maybe.
Yeah, but she was like juggling a bunch at any given time.
Yeah.
Apparently she purchased 1 home in 2019, 5 homes in 2020, and 15 homes in 2021. No wonder she was in massive debt by 2022. 15? That's too many. You are not a mogul.
Oh my God.
Get the fuck out of here. What do you think you are?
Not even that, but she's not a contractor.
No, she's
like
not.
That.
She has to pay people to do all the work on these houses.
Watching Selling Sunset, the only people doing that are like actual contractors that can do, like, they're doing most of the work.
Well, there's a way she gets some of that around some of that.
Or has the team of.
Also, she doesn't do any of it well. These homes have problems later.
Yeah.
They are not
renovated
well, I should say. But she began with a home in Heber City, Utah, which she bought and flipped in the early stages of her business. And for that, she used the money she stole from Eric, the loan money that she took out on his house. And this becomes a point of contention. That's the one he finds out about, right? Her business was characterized by a rapid, overlapping rotation of buying homes, fixing them up, and selling them. At any given time, she allegedly had about 3 houses she was actively working on.
Okay.
But she was not very good at it, I must say. And maybe some of them didn't need that much repair. I don't know.
Right. Well, if she was just buying them at like a high price.
Also, you can go in, buy a house, slap paint on it, and make it look nice, and convince people that you have put a ton of money into it. If you are a grifter, you can grift.
Right.
There are ways to do it. Anyway, in November of 2022, November 15th specifically, quote, Alec and Taryn Wright filed a lawsuit against Kouri. They allege that she sold them a mold-infested home, and the lawsuit claims there were severe health results as a recourse. And as we said before, mold can make you murder crazy. So
sure,
we're just lucky that didn't happen. Also, you could have used that if you were a good defense attorney. Guess you're not.
She's been in mold-infested homes.
I mean, she's been all up in there. But the point is, like, she did this to her friend, too. There's, like, a statement somewhere that's of no consequence later where she, like, let her friend live in one of the homes, and it was a piece of shit, too. Like, she was not doing this well. This is, like, a scam. Some of her ventures paid off, and some of them didn't. More of them didn't. But she was never deterred. She was like, okay, next. She just thinks she can do anything and everything all the time, and that she never fails. And if you asked her, she'd be like, I'm amazing at flipping houses. Okay. Her final real estate move in 2022 was her most ambitious and enormous dream she had, and she just knew she could make a reality. She called it Midway Mansion, and it was an unfinished 20,000 square foot luxury estate in Midway, Utah.
Okay.
10 acres. It's fucking huge.
That is.
Here's a little bit about it from Park City News. Quote, Midway, Utah, a massive 22,000 square foot mansion between Heber City and Midway has been unfinished for more than 5 years. The home is a bit of an eyesore in the valley and has been somewhat of a mystery to locals for the past half decade. The Wasatch County property sits on 10 acres and was first constructed in 2017 at 106 North Legacy Way. In 2017, Doug Roylance, the previous owner, started building the house there. The 22,800 square foot house, which Roylance had intended to use as a communal space for rent and usage. Remember, I said this is a resort town. That's probably what he was thinking.
Yeah.
Had been initially valued at $7.6 million. Roylance was constructing a dream home with 8 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms, 8 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms. That's a lot of math. 2 kitchens, a swimming pool, a golf simulator, and a rock climbing wall. That's ambitious. 2 years later in 2019, development paused, paperwork mounting, and the Wasatch County Sheriff's Department confirmed that an unattended death occurred on the site in September. Somebody died on that construction site, guys. No one talks about that. Why are we not talking about that? Someone died in there. Since Roylance never meant for the property to be his primary residence, I think it was supposed to be a resort, he lost interest in the project. He was like, never mind. And by the end of 2019, all the work had stopped on it, and he just like walked away. It's half done, man. Half done. There's no plumbing. It's full of mold. There's no electricity. It's not finished. This is a pit, basically. Roylance eventually put the unfinished mansion on the market as was and relocated to Guatemala, where he, quote, operates a philanthropic organization. Sure he does.
Sure.
He definitely didn't leave the country to escape whatever that was.
Right.
Real quick before they wanted their money back. The place was a money pit, let's be honest. The property was a source of disagreement in Eric and Kouri's marriage. This is documented in lots of places, including text messages. The couple was under contract at the time of Eric's death in March of 2022. Public search warrants say it was going to cost them nearly $2 million and that Eric thought it was too expensive. Kouri was like, we have to do this. We're doing it. I got it covered. Don't worry about it. We're doing it. And Eric was like, absolutely fucking not. This is going to kill us. We can't do that. But she just insisted she was going to figure it out. She did not. The project proved way too financially reckless and is considered a financial sinkhole. That is what a forensic, accountant, finance person called it, a financial sinkhole.
Wow.
Rather than a standard flip. That's a cute way to say money pit.
Mm-hmm.
According to the forensic accountant, that's what they are, testimony, by March of 2022, quote, her interlocking real estate debts and high interest loans had escalated to approximately $7.5 million worth of debt.
Oh, wow.
That is so much money.
Yeah.
They also stated in court that $7.5 million was more than all of Kouri's assets, all her money, and then all the money she would get if she sold every possession she owned down to the clothes on her back put together.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, you, in all your glory, are not worth that much money.
Yeah.
You can't pay it off. It's impossible. She did tell everyone that she definitely could and was worth way more than that. She kept saying I'm worth $22 million or something. Nope. None of these things were real. It was all a lie. And remember though, she did think that if Eric died, she'd get everything.
Sure.
Yeah. So there's your motive. Ta-da! Right. Proved. And Eric disagreed with this. Not only did she think she would get what Eric had, she also thought she could just pump up his life insurance real quiet and real quick. On May 18th of 2023, which would be after he died, I believe, amended charges accused Kouri Richins. Oh, this is when she's accused of doing it. So remember, this is when I mentioned the $2 million a second time. I'm not 100% sure when this life insurance policy happens, but she does tries to take out fraudulently a $2 million life insurance policy against her husband without his knowledge. I don't think that happens, but the fact that she tries is sketchy. She's trying to do the math right here. But let's put one final nail in that coffin. We have means, we have motive, we have opportunity, but if you just need a little bit more.
Sure.
There is a little tiny bit more. In case anyone thinks, but this was so out of character for sweet little Kouri to hurt her husband, manipulate people, lie, commit fraud, and use her children as financial bargaining chips because, of course, she kept those children as far away from Eric's family as she could and fed the kids poisonous lies about Eric's family the whole time and then threatened to keep the boys away from Eric's family unless they turned over Eric's estate.
Oh, that's shitty too.
I guarantee those conversations were documented.
Yeah.
You dumbass bitch. Okay. Here's our last bit of proof. Kouri was also an asshole all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, she was. She made herself out to be something of a hero surrounding Eric's death. To me, this just sets a precedent that she absolutely, definitely lies. She tried to poison. She also tried to poison Eric once before. Oh, when she was having an affair.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, and that.
Let's talk about the affair real quick, shall we? This is from the same newspaper I mentioned earlier, I believe, Park County News or Park something News. I will put it in the show notes. Quote, the Summit County Attorney's Office on Wednesday, this would be of the trial, called several witnesses to stand and testify about events leading up to March 4th, 2022, and afterwards. They included Robert Josh Grossman. Who is that? Oh, a handyman employed by Kouri, with whom she was having an affair. This poor man, this poor, simple, salt of the earth, hardworking man. He really thought that this woman loved him and he did everything. He fell so hard in love with her. Some might say she was out of his league, but I don't want to say that because he is a good human and she is a piece of shit.
Right.
But I get the appearances.
What was his name?
Robert Josh Grossman. I think he goes by Josh. Josh testified that he met Kouri about a decade ago. This had been going on for a long-ass time. In South Carolina, when he answered a help-wanted ad for a house flipping project, the pair communicated on and off for years before Grossman eventually moved to Utah in 2020 to be with Kouri. He moved to Utah for her, not himself.
Wow.
And what he would do was he would just stay in houses that Kouri was flipping. So he was a contractor or like a construction guy. Like he did that stuff. And now he's just one guy, so she needed more than that. But he did a lot of the work on these house flips for free.
Oh,
and in exchange, he lived in the houses he was flipping. So he never had to pay rent or find a place to live. She just let him live in the flips. And remember, she was continuously flippity-flipping. The pair did not have a contractual agreement, no contract. But Josh said Kouri took care of him. Kouri sometimes paid him for the work, like sometimes she'd just give him $25,000, like she did right after Eric died.
Wow.
And, she kept him housed, which was fine. Josh said he and Kouri became romantically involved around the time he moved to Utah. So he moved to Utah for her, and then they got romantically involved. This tells you how hopeful this man is. He confessed that he loved Kouri. His testimony is the saddest thing I've ever seen. It's really sad. And the judge is very sympathetic to him. He does not pull that, well, you had an affair. He's like, okay, man.
Right.
This didn't go well for you. He says he fell head over heels for her and thought she felt the same way, but she didn't. For example, Josh said that Kouri purchased him 2 trucks although one she did take back and give to her own mother. And it also gifted him a vacation to the island of St. Martin as a birthday present. They did not go, but she gave him tickets.
That's nice.
Tickets that the judge could see and the prosecution could produce.
Right.
Great. The two communicated almost daily, so they texted nonstop and called. They talked about house flipping as well as their regular lives, which included like Kouri saying she was married and talking about her children. Josh later testified that their romantic relationship was on again, off again, and agreed that being together was more of a fantasy than a reality. Prosecutors displayed a series of text exchanges between Josh and Kouri from November 2021 to April 2022. This is devastating. The messages ranged from expressions of love to talking about Kouri's divorce to planning a future together to questions about past drug use and Kouri's real estate business. So she's setting this guy up just a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Chief Prosecutor Brad Bloodworth asked very few questions, this poor man, because he's showing him these text messages in real time. And this guy is just hanging his head and crying. It is very sad. He often was just confirming whether Josh recognized the messages before they were presented to the jury. And listen, guys, I only think he goes by Josh, and I'm using it moving forward because Grossman is not as formal as I want to be with him. Anyway, Josh appeared emotional as he read the messages. He would sigh, held his head in his hands, and cry. As I said, this is a very sad watch. Text messages from Kouri alluded to celebrating the closing of the multi-million-dollar home purchase at Midway with him, and that went all the way up to 2 days before Eric's death. So she's texting him like, I have a crazy idea. Together, we buy Midway Mansion. We turn it into an event center, and upstairs is a place for us to live. And you and I live in romantic bliss forever, renting it out, making money, and just being in our little love nest. Is this crazy of me? She's saying these things. This is a manipulative piece of shit. That was 2 days before Eric died. However, Josh told defense attorney Wendy Lewis that he did not take that to mean that Eric would be out of the picture or as an indication that he and Kouri would be together forever. This was just fantasizing. Right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. Kouri and Josh were supposed to meet for brunch on March 4th, the fated day, but she did not show up. I wonder why. Josh texted Kouri to check in, and she informed him that Eric had passed away and she couldn't talk. Kouri ultimately closed on the Midway property on March 5th, like I said, right away. Prosecutors also displayed a text exchange between the pair around April 8th, 2022, where Kouri told Josh that she wanted him to be her husband now.
Yeah, that's nice.
She didn't really, though. She just wanted him to flip houses. And I think she also might have been setting him up to like take the fall for this murder.
Yeah.
The pair next saw each other again about 10 to 14 days after Eric's death. Josh testified that he and Kouri went to this mountain range, Uintas, together and spoke about Eric. He said the pair spoke about many topics, including Kouri's kids, bow hunting, the supernatural, life and death. Okay. The prosecutor specifically asked if Kouri questioned Josh if he had ever killed anyone while serving in the U.S. military in Iraq. Because also he's a veteran. Doing this to a veteran. And we do have the text messages. He said, have you ever killed anyone and how did it make you feel? Again, set up. She wants to see if she can make him out to be a murderer, I think. Mm-hmm. Josh said that conversation happened, but he didn't think it was out of the ordinary at the time. He was like, she's just asking weird shit. She also asked him if he had ever done drugs, to which he responds, no, we talked about this before. Why are you asking me this? She's like, I just wonder, like, tell me again. Tell me about, like, did you do drugs? Like pretend like I never asked you before. LOL.
So strange.
She talks to everyone like that, including like professional mortgage lenders and lawyers. She'll be like, LOL, I was having the worst day, you guys. Oh my God, it's better now. That's not how you talk to everyone.
Yeah.
You got to shut it down, girlfriend. I feel like she very clearly used this poor guy for free labor, among other things. He was just too naive to see it.
Absolutely.
Oh, God. And then there's this practice poisoning history. Which she does get charged for, and that is shocking. On February 14th of 2022, after a Valentine's Day dinner at their home, Eric becomes seriously ill. He had eaten a sandwich that Kouri made for him, and he later tells his friends and his sister, I believe, that he's like, I guess Kouri's trying to poison me. LOL.
Was that just in jest then?
I don't know, because she was. Kouri allegedly called a local diner and pays $42 for the meal or something. She's like, I got it from a diner. I didn't do that. Okay. He also uses his son's EpiPen and drinks liquid Benadryl after eating this sandwich. He was thinking like maybe he had an allergic reaction. And he does have very serious allergies. Remember we say he got allergy shots, so an EpiPen is not totally out of the question. However, if you don't need it, it's probably quite uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Although I didn't do any research into this, but if your breathing is suppressed and you are like falling asleep, I'm pretty sure that epinephrine will wake you up. Doesn't like speed your heart up and shit?
Yeah.
So maybe it helps. I don't know. Maybe the EpiPen did help. I have no idea. Drinking Benadryl wouldn't. But anyway. And then there's the assholery.
Wait, but you said that she was charged for that one?
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Oh, okay.
They put that on her tally as attempted murder.
Oh, later.
Yep.
Not then.
Not then, later.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. The day after Eric's death, Kouri also told her friends in documented text messages she creates, and she writes this in her journal too, a journal which they find and read and use. She writes out the day that, this is why I laid this out so carefully, the day that she called 911 that Eric died. She's like, I was hysterical. I ran to the phone, I called 911, and I was pumping on his chest, basically jumping up and down, just trying to get him to live. Live, damn you, live. I couldn't try hard enough. It was exhausting. I threw myself to the floor, heaving and vomiting. I couldn't get myself together. I was so upset. This is the time she's describing is when she was going, no, I don't know.
He's cold.
I did everything. I pulled him to the floor. I beat on his chest. I breathed and heaved inside, and there was nothing I could do.
And, I mean, she had to pay $10,000 to a ghostwriter?
Also, she didn't do a single one of those things, and we can see that.
Well, obviously. I mean, she crafts a good story.
I mean, yeah.
Well, it's a terrible story. She did need a ghostwriter.
She's also not great at it. She's just dramatic. I really think everything she says that happens or like tries to frame as something she is or does is something I feel like she saw on TV. I feel like she's just recreating some sort of fantasy life in her head.
Yeah.
Oh,
this
God.
is so sad.
Yeah. And then there's the recorded phone call where she admits to Eric's best friend that she stole that $250,000 from him. And the whole time she's like, okay, but like I won in the end. Do you understand that I made $800 bazillion off that house and I've made my whole family set for life? Set for life. Set for life, friend. Set for life. Like I did that. He wouldn't give me $250,000 because he didn't believe in me. He never believed in me. So I took it. I took it for the betterment of our family. She lays that on as thick as humanly possible. And the friend's like, I don't fucking think you should have done that.
Yeah.
Okay. But she's like, I was great to do it. And it's my money anyway. We're married. No. So, okay, all this shit happens. She has to have something to say for herself in defense. It was never presented in like a formal case in court, but she does like try to refute things with her version of who Eric was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to honor that with details. She has some insane story about how Eric always liked pills. He did pills in high school. We know she said that 911 night, and that he would go on hunting trips in Mexico with his friends, and they would buy a ton of drugs, and they would do drugs while they were there, which was later disproved because Todd, our good guy Todd, found their guides in Mexico who said no, none of them bought drugs.
Right.
They just hunted. But that's what she said. She was like, also, he is gay lovers with his best friend, and they do drugs and they have gay sex. There is no indication or evidence that any of that ever happened.
Right.
So
I did see that that's where they were kind of utilizing, again, almost like that Mormon culture of like,
he's gay, dun, dun, dun.
Well, or just the idea of like he's not going to tell anybody any of that. Like, I think that's such a secret. Messages, like, they're not going to say that they're drinking or doing drugs or that they're in like a relationship with anybody else.
I also think the gay, like, she got that from like text where he was like, I love you, man.
Yeah. Like, she's utilizing that. Yeah.
Especially with people who might be not the biggest fans of the gay community. That she might be trying to throw a panic bomb at people. But again, like, this held no water at all. It's not even worth going into that hard. She also went through 2 lawyers. The first one quit, citing irreconcilable differences after like a lot of this shit came out. She's like, I can't defend you. What the fuck, man? I think it was probably after all the forensic accountant stuff came out.
Yeah.
And then she was appointed a public defender. So on May 8th, 2023, after all of this nonsense, Kouri was arrested and charged with aggravated murder. These are all her charges. There's a lot of them. Aggravated murder, first-degree felony for poisoning her husband with a fatal dose of fentanyl in a Moscow Mule cocktail. I think they're wrong. I think it was the shot. Anyway, also attempted aggravated murder, first-degree felony for an earlier attempt. That's the Valentine's Day sandwich incident. Insurance fraud, second-degree felony, 2 counts for illicitly changing life insurance policies and attempting to collect payouts without her husband's knowledge, and forgery, a third-degree felony for forging documents in an attempt to manipulate Eric's estate and financial assets. That is as many things as they could possibly charge her with, probably. And there's one more last thing. After all of this, while Kouri was in jail awaiting trial, they also found a 6-page letter titled "Walk the Dog!" in Kouri's cell. And I will read the full 6 pages on Postmortem. We don't really have the time to do it right now. Also, it's like really badly executed code. It's basically her telling her mother and her brother what to say to the police and in any kind of court situation, and to the lawyers, telling them to cover their tracks and then to delete what she said. Yeah. She's saying, hey, commit perjury.
Right.
Doesn't look good.
I would think not.
Yeah. And that's after the case. She can't. She's like, I meant walk the dog. And no, that wasn't real. And then in her last-ditch effort to defend herself from this careful planning of like how to not get convicted, she says, I was writing a novel. Didn't you have to ghostwrite a children's book that repeats the same phrase 22 times?
Right.
You were not writing a novel, my friend. That doesn't live in you. I'm sorry. But anyway, I'll read the whole thing for you guys on Postmortem. The trial was a media sensation shit show. It just happened. It was on court TV. You couldn't escape it. If you want to watch all of it, you can. So on March 16th, 2026, the jury returned a guilty verdict on all charges.
Nice.
All of them, including the Valentine's Day attempted murder that they couldn't prove to save their lives. Jury still convicted her. And they convicted her within like a few hours. It was very fast. They did not have to think about it. And that included the first-degree murder charge. On May 13th, 2026, Kouri Richins was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. They're also working on they have not had the trial yet about I forget the word, how she's going to pay off all these debts, because she has a shit ton of debts.
Oh, right.
Which we talked about, like who gets those?
I know.
Her kids officially have been, Katie and her family has custody of those children, like official legal custody. They cannot absorb their mother's debt. She doesn't have rights to them.
I know. I assume it goes to the parents. I don't know.
That'd be wild.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, Kouri's mom, because she only has mom. Kouri's mom, you have $7.5 million worth of debt. Have a nice day. What?
That's wild. I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, let me know. Because it can't evaporate. I mean, I'm sure some of it does. I'm sure you have to claim bankruptcy, and some of it they just have to kind of like in court go, well, just give us a third of it or something. We're never going to recoup our losses here.
Okay.
What does it say?
Well, so it says that in Utah, no one automatically assumes your debt. Like if you were sent to prison, so you'd like she is going to remain responsible. And then any unpaid credit cards, medical bills, or personal loans will likely default, accrue interest, and eventually be sent to collections.
Holy shit! So she's going to accrue interest on that shit too?
Oh, for sure. Debts must be managed in the following ways. So you have spouse or co-signers, state recovery. Let's see. I don't know. Well, I gotta ask it a different way, I think.
Well, they have the trial that they have deciding all of those things is happening, I think, this month or next, where they're deciding how she's supposed to like repay these debts and how much and to whom.
Gotcha.
Because obviously they're going to have to like just liquidate some of it because it's just not possible.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure they'll sell off a bunch of, I mean, like anything she has, which is not much.
Yeah.
She did buy that big, stupid mansion. Someone has since bought it. However, that's not going to pay off all her debts because part of her debts are just for that house. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there'll be like some prison wage garnishments. I don't know. It's going to be wild.
It's going to be super wild. Have to see. And they're going to just liquidate everything she owns. Everything will be repossessed. Cars.
It's going to be a whole liquidation.
Any properties she still has, anything will all go. They'll throw that all at it first, and then they'll kind of like count up. I know she's also trying. Eric's family tried to extend an order of protection against Kouri so that she couldn't contact the children. That has not been decided yet either, because in the court that they were in, it was not family court. So they can't say you can't talk to your kids or send them a birthday card. You just don't have parental rights.
Right.
Well, I think that is also on the table. As of right now, she doesn't. I think she's fighting for some sort of parental rights. She will not get them. She's going to be in jail forever. Like, sorry.
Right.
Yeah. So, that's the case.
Okay.
That's as much of the case as I could pour into like 4 hours worth of content.
A lot. Yeah.
And you guys, I'm sure I missed some things. I just can't ever talk about it again.
Yeah.
I'm so saturated and tired. I can't do this anymore.
Well, I think Holly and I were briefly discussing some of this where it's like, this was definitely one of those court cases, like, because it was current and like you said, it was like an interesting watch. So to do like a play-by-play, like when it's happening, like that's where a lot of those discussions go on. And you can like, you know, after like a day of court, you can like go in and just like have your theories, you know, or hypothesize and stuff. But then like now it's over. So we know what she did. So a lot of those things that they were like grueling over, essentially, it's just not even relevant. Like,
true story. And I think there are also some cases, I did encounter some of this with the mushroom poisoner and a couple other cases we've done where people just know too much.
Yeah.
Not too much like you shouldn't know that much, too much for one person to be able to cover it to our standard in everyone's opinion in just a short amount of time, because there is a glut of information. There's so much. I mean, you can read every minute of that trial. Aaron Patterson's too. You can read all of the minutes. There are podcasts that do nothing but recount every single day of the trial. I can't possibly distill all that information and give you everything. I gave you what I thought was relevant, what I thought made sense. And some of the stuff we gave you was stuff that you cannot get elsewhere or do not get elsewhere.
Yeah.
I tried to, anything original that I found that people didn't recognize and I did, that's what I really tried to make a point of putting in our coverage. Because if you're going to listen to ours and you already know the story, you might as well get something new.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, boy, howdy, was that a wild ride. I did not assume it would be based on the initial, very short People magazine article I read. But here we are. Toast. To Eric's family, his sisters, his parents. I didn't get much. I mean, like, I had no time to breathe in these 2 episodes, as I just discussed, because there is so much fucking information. But I couldn't sit down and tell you how wonderful these people were and how unbelievably impactful their victim impact statements I'm gonna link just the YouTube of their victim impact statements in our show notes this week. It is 2 hours long.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You don't have to watch all of it. You can fast forward through it. I do want to warn you that the most impactful are the 3 that social workers make on behalf of the children who wrote their own.
Of course.
They are babies. They wrote their own victim impact statements wherein they refer to their mother as Kouri.
Yeah.
They are fucking done. All 3 of those boys are like, you made us hate our family. You made us scared all the time. You were just home drunk with your boyfriends. Our father is dead. Please put this woman away for life. We are afraid of her. And it is children.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
They're so young.
They are so young. I mean, the youngest when Eric died was 5.
Yeah.
And that was in 2022. So he's what, 9?
I know.
Those are little kids. They are with Katie and her husband and their girls, and they are being taken care of. I believe Katie has them. They're being taken care of very well. They're with Eric's family. They are loved. They are cared for. Every dime of that money from Eric's estate goes to them. They are set. I mean, they are obviously traumatized as hell. And what I thought was the most interesting and impactful part about those victim impact statements, and this is the last thing I'll say before we go, is that in regards to the boys, they said themselves and their family said, this is not one trauma for them. This is trauma every time something happens and their dad should be there. They are re-traumatized every single time they have a birthday. They are re-traumatized when they learn to drive. They'll be re-traumatized when they graduate high school, when they go to college, when they move out on their own, when they get married, when they have children. Every single time their dad is not there, it happens again.
Right.
And I thought, wow, that is a bullet.
Well, and then you read her book and it's like, yeah.
And she's just like stating times when the children will be sad.
Yeah. No. She's also stating times when the children will be traumatized.
Also, I'm catching this. I don't know if it was intentional, but their victim impact statements do kind of mimic the trajectory of Kouri's book.
Yeah.
They're very much like, he won't be there for this. He won't be there for that. He won't be, I'll miss him here. I'll miss him there. I'll still talk to him. They all really sound like an eerie, eloquent, truth-based version of that stupid book she had ghostwritten.
Yeah, I feel like they're just slapping her in the face every time.
Even if they're not, it sounds like it, man, and they should ride that wave.
Yeah.
Anywho, guys, toast to, oh God, to the whole Richins family, especially those sweet little boys, and to Eric's sisters who fought like hell for him.
Mm-hmm.
So cheers.
Cheers.
And to fucking Private Eye Todd. Hell yeah, Todd.
Hell yeah, Todd.
You did all the work. All of it. And whatever other people I missed, there are a lot of them.
Yeah. And I think we have a new patron that I didn't mention yet.
Oh, if not, then you get two. Woohoo!
You get two. But we are going to toast to a best fiend forever. Oh my God, it just switched. Hold on. Best fiend forever. Morgan Schremer.
Morgan!
I apologize if I said your last name wrong. But also maybe you got this twice.
So that's a win.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
Thank you, Morgan, for becoming
thank you so much.
Best
We
fiend
love
forever.
you.
You'll have some new postmortems coming up soon.
Yes. And I'll read that stupid letter on one of them. I think that's it, you guys. If I never... I sound bitter. I'm not bitter. This one was just so much more than I ever thought it was going to be. And I was so much angrier than I thought I was going to be at this person. So it was a lot of me being like, oh, fucking that girl.
Yeah. That's all right.
So if we don't talk about it anymore, that's fine. Yeah. But if you do have any questions, you can put them in the Facebook group. I'm sure there are other people that are dying to discuss. And if we thought we could financially manage 20 high-end houses, we would be dead. We would. We can't do that.
No, that's too much.
It's too much. Then we're done.
Oh, man.
None of that.
I'm so stressed.
We have a realistic sense.
I have so many houses.
Oh, my God. My 20 houses.
Oh, and to decorate them all?
With my perfect style and my business acumen.
And I want them all to feel different, but similar. Like I want my...
There needs to be a different live, laugh, love sign in every kitchen.
For real.
It's wine o'clock somewhere.
Yeah.
All that it has a purposeful place, along with a lot of Ray Dunn stuff.
Yes. Ray all the way.
Get it, guys.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the We Would Be Dead podcast. Hit subscribe now to never miss an episode. Rate and review our show on iTunes. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Would Be Dead Pod. And join our Facebook group to discuss the podcast and more.
Manipulative, delusional, overconfident white girls? Kind of a dime a dozen.